Well, Sean Wigan, this is the first of the men's semi-finals. We've had a couple of interesting women's one, a 5-gamer between Emma Miller and Lana Harrison that featured a significant blow to the head. That's Lana Harrison's head, and Emma Miller eventually coming through in 5. And then we just watched Shelley Kitchen account for Lauren Clark in straight. So there'll be Miller versus Shelley Kitchen tomorrow. That's from 2 p.m. And now this particular match, Evan Williams, the left-hander against Lance Beddoes. I guess 2 of the more experienced or older players in the men's draw.
Yeah, well, they've certainly both got the experience over the years being on the tour, and of course both going to Commonwealth Games in the past as well, so they certainly know what they need to do on the court.
It'll be interesting because sorry to point it out, but you lost to Lance in 5.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
And that was earlier today. But the thing is with Lance, he's a special character in the banter on the court through to just everything he does on the court. What makes him so good in that sense?
Well, he likes to have a bit of a chat on the court while he's playing. And sometimes the only thing you can do is sort of just go with it. That's what I've learned to do when I've played each other so many times, especially in the last year or so. Last 3 times we've played, they've all gone to 5, and each of them have pretty much been the same, where it's just a bit of banter on the court, nothing else really goes, and then we sort of have a laugh after the match about what happened on the court.
So far, a couple of drawn-out rallies. Both players they know each other's game, but just sort of working it through. And Evan Williams winning that particular point. His cousin, Aaron, great to have you tuning in. Aaron, one of the most enthusiastic supporters at the events. We look forward to seeing you. Hopefully, you're going to come up for the Auckland Open. And I'm sure you'll be there for the national champs.
It's in Wellington, the national champs, so definitely expect him to be there, because expect more of them to be going for Evan there, for Wellington being his.
Yeah, Evan would have been one of the coaches at the venue, so we're expecting a big crowd of supporters at the national champs at Hutt Valley in, June?
End of June, yeah, I think 25th, 27th, I think it is.
Just looking at this rally, these 2 are just going to push their way around, just work the rally rather than go for anything too much just yet.
Yeah, well, Lance will certainly be feeling it from both of them will be feeling it from their games.
So Evan should be thanking you.
Well, Evan will also had a big 5-setter against Temwa Shalisi earlier today. Certainly a lot of discussions about that game, but he'll be more focused on this game now. And so far he's made a pretty good start, 5-2 up.
And good to see a couple of former New Zealand champs, junior champs turning up. Who's over there? That was Matt, the centre, just walking along. And who else we got there?
Yeah, we got Gabe Yam. They're also coming to watch. They'll be mostly here for the game after, which is Joel Arscott versus Elijah Thomas. That certainly will be a fascinating game.
So 8-2 now, as Evan Williams just been very businesslike so far in this first game.
Well, Lance will certainly have felt it from our game earlier today. Certainly was struggling after our match, so he'll be.
The trouble is with Lance, he looks that way a lot, even if he's winning something.
Yeah, well, as you said before, he's certainly got that experience to just mix that up, know when to really pick the pace up. Of course, with Henderson being his home courts as well, he'll know what to do on this court as well.
That was a bit of an unorthodox shot, just sort of pushing it from his volley, away from his body.
Bit of a grin there from Lance as well.
Yeah, that's nice. Very patient on that particular shot there from Evan. He's certainly involved in a lot of questioning of the calls in his match against Timor. It was very tight, of course.
Yeah, well, it was pretty fascinating because he was well in control for maybe the first 1.5 games, and then it just takes a few calls and suddenly
Yeah.
he just loses concentration.
I mean, he could have won it in 4.
Yeah.
He had about half a dozen points to win in 4 against Tim
Yeah, well, he
White.
was up 10-7 in that 4th game, and then, to be fair, Tim White had some nice shots to save those match points, but at the same time, being disappointed to have messed it up. So
that's 11-3.
yeah, a bit of a quick one there for Evan. He said he won't mind it after the game he had this morning.
And Evan Williams straight back onto the court very quickly. The backhands down the wall. Bit of a warm up again. Doesn't seem too fast there.
Problems with the door again. So exactly the same as. Yeah, someone needs to sort it. Someone needs to sort that door out. Happened earlier in Lana and Emma's game. Happened in my game.
Notice I think someone's opened the curtains upstairs. There's suddenly a couple of black. Don't kick it too much.
And I've never seen that many people struggle with a door.
Exactly. All right, I think we've got it sorted, have we? Although we do have that bit of light that's come through just suddenly. Someone
Yeah,
opened the curtains upstairs, or
Yeah,
Not
don't
sure.
know where that came from. Oh,
it just appeared.
Doesn't look like it's distracting them yet, but you might get a call from them later.
No, not the door again.
No, he broke his strings that
Yeah,
time.
broke a string, but he's going to have to go through that door. That could be an issue.
Yes. I remember he broke string in our game, so he's certainly down a few rackets now.
But what? It's not like he's using, say, a top spin. Well, the door worked this time. Why is he breaking? Is he hitting it not off the middle of the string?
Well, he does a lot of cut on the ball, so it can break it off quickly, and plus it depends how much he's had them before.
So how much? What's the cost of getting a restring these days?
Oh, look, it really depends who you talk to. Of course, if you know the right people, it can be pretty cheap, and for others, it would be a lot more than you would hope for. So it certainly varies. Yeah, I think Lance plays his best when he starts to just mix it up and go for a shot, almost makes it up next.
Well, that is one of the secrets of his game, is playing all over the court.
Yeah, he's
Playing
got
shots from
such
anywhere.
unpredictability on that court. He's so far made a good start here, 3-1 up. Sort of caught Evan out a few times, especially against Evan. He's certainly solid if he just keeps.
A nice little check there from Evan Williams. He just sort of checked, well, which way am I going to go? And I can see where my opponent is. And I'll just play it through.
Bit of banter once again from Lance. No surprises there. A bit loose there.
That was a good shot. Just being able to just
Bit
whip
of
it
a
away from him.
bit of a loose one there for Lance to. They're setting it up for Evan to put away. That's better play there.
It's a little uncharacteristic so far in this particular match anyway. We haven't seen one like that from Evan Williams. That's Lance just sort of pushing him a little bit more.
Oh, that's well played from Evan there. Behind the back. Oh, Lance reads that. Oh. That was some quick reactions there. Just couldn't quite pull off that last one.
If it had come off, it would have been remarkable.
That could have been shot of the tournament. Although Elijah's winner can't be beaten either. That's a nice drop there, well played. Kept it tight there. Just holding on to this lead here in this second game. That's well played. You don't really want to give Evan those opportunities. He's got such a good touch on that forehand side.
But what he does is just take that step forward and almost hold his wrist, and then just the last moment just come under it.
It's well played from Lance there, moving Evan around.
Well, Lance plays it very well. If the high ball to his forehand, you want to keep him back. If you can get him to the back of the court a bit more, I wouldn't say you've got him, but it's certainly a lot easier.
Yeah, you got to prevent him from getting those opportunities at the front court, especially knowing how solid Evan is at the back as well. There's a very, very tight one there. Thoughts on that?
Yeah.
On that one there? I think they've given a.
I mean, it was certainly close.
Yeah. So it's certainly a close one, and it's sort of just peaked the front and.
That's a good shot. Nice angle.
There's no argument about that, but bit of dangerous play there though from Evan snacking the ball out of the court.
So the 3-point lead, this will make it interesting.
Yeah, well,
Just to see how can he keep his head.
Lance is
There we go.
Yeah, that's one thing that people underestimate Lance a lot, and certainly showed in my game. You know, even when he's behind, he'll keep pushing to the end. We saw that a bit at Nationals as well in his quarterfinal, and he thought he was going to be comfortably beat him, but in the end he lost a very tight 5-setter to Chris Vander Slam, I think it was, and he just kept going as long as he could. Almost missed that one up.
Yeah. Gee, that was a bit tighter than what Evan Williams wanted. And you notice then that Lance just asked a question just to give himself a few more seconds.
Yeah, he's very good at that, just giving himself that extra time that he needs. Even when he's up.
Still in the rally, worked his way back in. Work that corner. That's better.
Yeah, going for his shots now.
Took a lot of patience from Evan Williams to win that.
Yeah, well, he needs to. This is a key moment in this game now. If he can get a few good points here, we could very much get some momentum here in this second, but it could be all over very quickly if he makes a few quick mistakes as well. Well played, moving Lance around.
I think what's happening here is that Evan's just decided to keep a little bit patient. If he can go 4, 5, 6 shots and onwards, he's got a much better opportunity.
Yeah, so a little loose one there. No lead there. This time Evan just took it.
Looking a little bit hopeful on that decision when he looked up at the officials.
Yeah, just. I think that was a pretty obvious decision there. We got Lance here, 10-8, game ball. Yeah, easy mistake from Evan there.
Well, there we have it, Sean. It was interesting. There was certainly one stage where you had Evan Williams looking the better. Well, one game all between these two in the semi-final. It is Evan Williams from Wellington against Lance Beddoes from the Henderson Club. Well, that was the Henderson Club that he grew up with and grew up playing here. Knows the court. They both know the court so well. There's not much difference with this court considering they've played national champs here. They played the Henderson Satellite last year Sean Wiggins. So these guys both know how it plays, don't they?
Yeah, well, of course, Lance growing up here will have the home advantage here, knowing how the courts play, not just from all the experiences, but even just hitting here regularly leading up to these tournaments can pay huge dividends in these sort of situations. Certainly showed in our game earlier today, and so far he's battling through here.
Both grinning after an interesting shot there.
Yeah, well, that was a pretty easy miss from Lance there, so that's sort of what Lance can do, just have a bit of a chuckle on the courts.
Well, that's what makes them so difficult to play. You get an easy miss and then you get a brilliant shot.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't think you can call a stroke on that.
No, they gave it no there. I think the problem there is Lance was still playing through the ball, so I think I think it's the right decision there. I think Lance was still trying to play through the ball and even almost tried to do a rugby tackle on him, so I think that's a fair decision there.
I should just inform people that in the women's semi-finals it was a 5-game victory, Emma Miller over Lana Harrison, and the other semi-final was Shelley Kitchen at over 40 years old, the former top 10 player, and she is the club captain here at Henderson. She defeated Lauren Clark in straight games.
Henderson would love to have two of them in the final. Shelley already in the women's final. They'd love to have Lance in the men's final.
Now there's Lance again with those very good reactions.
It's very hard to predict where he's going to be. It certainly happened in my game as well. You've got to mix where you play, but
so he doesn't play the same lines as other people.
But most of the time you are still hitting it to him, so it gets frustrating picking the right shot.
I've just seen another one of the Henderson players with Leo Fatialofa just not too far behind us. If he gets near the mic, he's going to do shout outs. Oh, nice pick up. You could see even they're checking. Where is he? Where is he?
Yeah.
Okay, he's coming up on my right, so I'll go to the left.
It was a bit slower on that occasion. So Evan done well to come back in this game after a good start from Lance.
Just a little error there from Lance. Gives
certainly trying to go for
an opportunity.
Yeah, Lance starts starting to struggle a little bit fitness-wise and needs to just slow it down a bit so he stays in the rallies.
Well, my feeling was on that one that Evan could have gone forward to it.
Yeah, this is the biggest worry with when you watch him play is when he sort of starts to bring the sort of, and it's also a good indication for the opponent to start getting into his head a bit as well and continuously doing that.
This
is a really good shot there.
Jammed into the wall.
Yeah, what was really good about that, he didn't focus on trying to hit a winner. It was more just placement, trying to make sure the ball was tight to the wall, and as you saw, it paid dividends on that occasion.
Well, that's one of the key things in most racket sports. You don't have to necessarily hit a winner. However, if you put yourself in a position to win from the next shot.
Yeah, well, in squash, the key is to get the ball tight to the wall, more important than trying to actually hit a winner. Because if you play someone that's really quick up to the ball, then they can surprise you with a quick counter drop or even a quick drive. But if they're quickly onto it but can't time it because it is tight, then it catches them out a lot more. A few mistakes from Lance in this game, 8-5 now.
to do that, Lance. It gives Evan that extra point. And now 9-5. So we're just seeing a little bit of tiredness come through his game here.
Yeah, well, he's had a few tough matches, so certainly starting to catch up to him, although he wouldn't mind that. Like I say, he knows the courts very well. He probably knew he needed to hit a shot like that.
That's it. And that is the second game. Like that. We're into the third game
Yeah,
now.
so it's 2-1
it is
to
2-1.
Evan now. And he just
Well, Sean Wigan, we have some entertaining matches so far today. There's a couple of other matches on the other courts as well. We've just seen Riley McCracken, one of the youngsters, being supported by Gabe Yam, Matt Lucente, and who else was there as well?
I think it was Mason Smales.
Mason Smales, all looking at him through the window. The poor guy, between those three.
And then after winning a point, Gabe just starts smacking on the window as well. It doesn't really help him.
Yeah, I think so. When he's playing against a much more senior player.
So if we focus back on this match here, wonder if his coach told him to do that a bit more.
Yeah. Well, let's just see how the fitness and focus of Lance Beddoes is.
Yeah, he didn't have a good finish to that last game. Had a good start, but then just fell short in that at the end stages of that game.
One of the key things is going to be patience from Evan Williams, and then Lance Beddoes is going to be just keeping up the unorthodox and keeping into the race.
Well, another thing to also point out is Lance probably doesn't have that much pressure on this match compared to Evan. Of course, Evan being national champion and the top seed in this tournament.
I think he's feeling a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, and Lance just knows, he's just out there to have a good time. As you can see, he's just having a bit of a laugh most of the time and just enjoying it.
Yeah, for Evan as defending champion, as the number one domestic player, there is that pressure on him, and you can see that people aren't standing back. Timur didn't. No.
Well, he's had a lot of close games against these guys over recent years. Like last year, he lost to Luamba a few weeks out before nationals, and of course had a massive 5-setter with him to win the national. So you can see everyone's starting to catch up as well. So it certainly knows how hard it is for him to.
It's not as easy as you think. Oh, you're ranked 87 in the world. These guys are ranked lower. It's certainly nowhere near as easy as what rankings or experience would have you think.
Can't do much of that shot though. Very tight to the wall.
It's a good shot.
5-3, getting a bit of a lead here.
Well, what he did there was just able to push himself forward a little bit to be able to control the narrative of the extra point. There's the support for Riley again.
Lance not happy with one decision here, just questioning double bounce from his shot earlier. No questions about that one though.
Oh, that was good. That was well played.
So crucial moments here now. 4-6. Probably can't afford to drop that far behind.
great recovery.
He's belling.
Oh, and then the low ball to the other side.
Yeah, just a good shot there.
Went from each corner of the court effectively.
Yeah, he doesn't like a pressure session unless he's the one moving the other person around.
Well, that little scoop shot, something that you actually do a lot, is just not much of a swing. It's almost scooping the ball through on the forehand. And
yeah, it was an easy way just to take the ball slightly earlier rather than letting the ball go to the back, especially when it's low. That's a well-held shot.
I mean, where were you going to go if you're Lance on that one?
Yeah,
Probably think it was going to be driven down the line.
Pretty comfortable now for Evan, 9-4.
The legs looked a little bit sore there.
Yeah, he's certainly hard to back up a big 5-setter from this morning to play another big one.
Yeah. And there's the victory there. And, 3 games to win. A victory for Evan Williams. He is through to the final. The time now for the second men's semi-final. Already we've had Evan Williams defeat Lance Beddoes in 4 games. But Sean Wiggin, this particular match, Joel Arscott in the orange and in the blue, I guess. It is Elijah Thomas. Are we expecting long rallies in this particular match?
Well, it's certainly a bit of a rivalry with this game. They both certainly like to keep the ball going, but I think what was a good sign for Elijah's sake in his game earlier today was he was taking the ball really early on the court, really looking to sort of take it early, which certainly caught the Wamba out a bit more, and certainly going short at the right time, which probably what he's missed in the past.
So potentially over the break from early November to now, he's brought that into his game to really go early a lot more rather than grind out the rallies. I mean, he doesn't mind going for his shots, but he didn't mind staying in the rally forever.
Yeah, well, he still likes a long rally, but the big difference you can tell now is where maybe in their match when these two met at Nationals 3 months ago, he sort of waited for the ball a lot more, wasn't actually going straight to the ball. So because of that, he wasn't quite striking the ball quite as well, especially when he tried to go short. So you'll be certainly expecting him to try and back up that result earlier today.
Alright, well, let's have a look now. And of course, still wearing the goggles because Elijah Thomas is still a junior.
Yeah, so the rule is for the PSA, if you are an under 19 junior, you've got to wear goggles for the event. So it doesn't matter what your ability is or what round it is. You've always got to wear goggles if you're under 19.
How did you find that? Was that rule in when you were playing
No,
junior? You're not that old, but...
No, I'm pretty old now. I didn't really do too many PSAs while I was a junior anyway, so I didn't have the luxury on worrying about that. But of course, he's certainly used to wearing the goggles a lot, so he certainly doesn't have that much of a factor. It certainly didn't affect him in his match earlier today. If you're wondering what match I'm talking about earlier today, he probably produced a big upset, beating the second seed, Wamba Shalisi, in 5.
Then we had 3 of the 4 men's quarterfinals go to 5. That was your particular match against Lance Beddoes. We had Evan Williams winning over Tenwa Chalisi. The only match that actually went straight was Joel Arscott and his win over Finn.
And that could be a big advantage for Joel in this game, is just being a bit more fresher to Elijah, not necessarily in a physical sense, but on a mental sense, because causing a big upset can be big and just hard to back it up, as you've seen, not just in squash, but in many sports. It's hard to back up a big upset with another real quality performance. It'll be very fascinating to see how he goes here, especially against someone who he has struggled with in the last year or so.
Yeah, that's a nice shot. A good shot
Yeah, he can't
to start with.
Yeah, he can't afford Joel to dominate the front court. He's getting behind.
I couldn't see Elijah being able to get out of the way.
Yeah, there was a
that
bit of a push there. I would give a no there as well. There was a bit of a push, and expect a lot of that during this game.
Yeah, we'll see. What? I think it's just the way that these two play. They played each other a lot during the series out at SquashXL last year.
And of course you had the Nationals as well, where Joel really took out Elijah very comfortably, so it'll be...
Which was a surprise in many ways, the scoreline from the Nationals.
Yeah, well, everyone was expecting a real tight contest, almost expecting that to be match of the tournament sort of thing, so Elijah will certainly be more fired up for this game as well.
I think one other thing we can remember is that Elijah still is only 18. Joel's not a huge amount of years older, but
21, I think.
I think he's 21, maybe
22.
Going towards
maybe.
22. Elijah's still 18 at the moment. I think he turns 19 in November or something like that. But it's he's still got a little bit of age to to actually come through.
Yeah, but I think it showed in his game earlier today. Much different compared to completely different in his game today compared to even Nationals last year, where maybe wasn't quite as clinical with his play.
And we said earlier on that in this tournament last year, which wasn't the same degree of challenger as the satellite, and Elijah went through to the final, lost then to Evan Williams. That was his first final of a PSA tournament.
Joel's made a good start here, 4-1 up.
That's good shot.
Long rally here, expecting a lot of these sort of rallies in this game. Joel just trying to dictate here, but Elijah scrambling well. It's a nice tight ball there to force the error.
Well, it's really who can get forward and dominate the tee a lot more. You're seeing both players just trying to get forward, get pushed back again, then try and get forward.
Shot there from Joel.
That's good.
Once again, Elijah scrambling here.
Now he's in a better position.
Making up for it. That's a very long rally.
It's a good rally.
Yeah, good hold there Joel to put that ball away.
Well, this game is so strategic the way they're playing it. They have their particular processes that they're going through. I'm sure their coaches have told them what they want them to do compared to the previous match that we saw, which a little bit more unorthodox, particularly with Lance in there.
Yeah, well, these two still are looking to improve where maybe where both Evan and Lance, with their ages, sort of were more on the court just to.
And thank you very much to Joel's father, Paul, to come through and say that Joel is 21 still.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Turning 22, there you go, Paul.
Yeah.
He'll turn 22 next birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel got a good lead here, 6-3. Be a good mental boost for him to secure the first game here.
Much better rally.
A bit of a crowd starting to come in to watch this game. Of course, we can't have too many with the level 2 restrictions here in Auckland.
This is a much better rally from Elijah. Oh.
Yeah, nice shot there to win the point.
Wow, we haven't quite seen what Elijah did earlier today, where he pushed forward a lot more. He's just hesitating a bit.
Well, Joel's dictating a lot more of this game so far, making Elijah do a lot of scrambling around the court, so just needs to find a way to get in front. Even just that sort of shot, just not quite enough to get in front. You can see Joel really trying to take the ball early as well, really not giving Elijah not enough time.
It's nice shot. Very good forehand down the wall.
Of course, for Joel, with the success he's had against Elijah, this will be a very good confidence booster in the early stages with this good start, 8-3. A bit tight there.
Yeah, nothing, no malice in that. It was just more of a.
Yeah, I think it was just an accidental incident there. Nothing worrying there. They got the stroke there, which is the right call. Yeah, first real mistake from Joel in this game. He's been very solid throughout this game. Be disappointing to have made that error.
That's much better shot.
That was a bit of play from Elijah. Really,
well, he was moving forward all the time.
He really needs to get in front, make Joel do a little bit more work.
Oh.
Can't do anything with that one though.
No. It was just the perfect height, wasn't it? Perfect height, and you could just go for it. I mean, the idea was there, but the execution just not quite right. Just pushing it too much.
Can't afford these sort of mistakes, even if he's up this much, because it can just give your opponent a bit of a confidence booster, even for the next game.
Nice use of the log.
rally here. Game ball to Joel. And there's a mistake.
After
After all that, long rally. Simple mistake into the 10. Joel gets that game 11-6.
So Sean, in that first game, we went to Joel Arscott against Elijah Thomas. How would you regard it? It was a good, steady effort from Joel.
Yeah, he made a few mistakes at the end, but for the most part, he was very much in control of that game. Just really took the ball early, really didn't let Elijah in this game. Elijah really needs to start looking at getting in front if he has any shot here. Very tight rally here.
There was a boast from so far back in the court. He was going to struggle to actually make the front wall.
Yeah, he tried to go too much there. Bose is probably the only option there, but tried to do way too much there to try and get a winner. Much better shot there, just setting his opponent back, setting it up.
To the wall. Much better point. Used the wall very well on the forehand side and then just flicking over to the backhand. So much smarter play.
Yeah, bad miss there from Joel there. Does have the tendency to give away a few cheap points at start second after a very solid first game. And he certainly doesn't want to let Elijah in this game.
So Joel just getting one back there after an error from Elijah where he had to duck under the ball.
Yeah, simple stroke there. Smarter play there from Elijah, starting to take the ball a little bit earlier in this game.
What do you think, Sean? Certainly both players were all over the court, and certainly Elijah also had the advantage there. He was in front of the court quite a bit.
He started out well in this point, but then just started getting a bit loose and didn't quite execute the ball quite as well later on. Just let Joel into that point a little bit too much, and eventually the stroke came out. It's just, but again, a very long way. Oh, nice shot there from Joel. Can't really do much about that one. Joel's starting to get a bit of a lead in this game. 4-2.
And now 5-2. Just a little bit of a lull there in that particular point. It was.
Yeah, it just looks like Elijah's just showing a little bit of fatigue from his game earlier today, of course.
It was a very good win.
Yeah, it was a huge win for him. But of course, it's very hard to back it up. As you're seeing him, not just squash, but any sport really, just to try and back that sort of result up with another strong performance can be very tricky if you can't.
Well, for Elijah, beating a player ranked in the top 50 in the world, that's just when you think about the ranking-wise, that's significant as well. So this is the last match of a very busy day. We've had quarters and semis, and there's been some lucky matches as we were talking about then, including some of the women's matches as well.
And we've had a lot of drama in a lot of matches as well.
We've had some calls that have been disputed. We've had a hit to the head. The lump on Lana Harrison's head is significant. It's certainly out there. Emma Miller hitting her in the head.
And then we've also had good moments too, like shot of the day. A lot of good contenders. A lot of good contenders for those. And big comebacks. Well, I won't mention my one because I don't really want to talk about it.
We won't mention the one. There has been a lot of good matches, and when you're playing a quarters and semis, I mean, players are used to this, but when you get to the Auckland Open, that's a 10, where you're not allowed to play 2 matches in one day. So that's where it's spread out just a bit longer.
So we start on the Thursday afternoon to evening, and then we'll play quarters on the Friday, semis on the Saturday, and then the final, of course, will be on the Sunday. And it'll certainly give some of the players more time to rest, especially the ones that will certainly feel like they need to if they have a really tough game.
Yeah. Well, because we've got the slightly smaller draws from not doing a 32, we're doing a 16. So you've almost got rid of those first round matches as they would normally be, which generally would be a little bit easier. So automatically you're starting from what would be a second round.
Or even nationals, you had 5 matches in 3 days, and for some you had to their first tough match was like round of 16, so you're always having to go 4 matches in a row with high quality, and for some, of course, it's just not possible for them to do. So a very interesting point there.
The thing is that Elijah had the opportunity to finish that in
I
a lot
think
of
he needed
ways.
to go. There was an opportunity he could have maybe gone straight to put the ball away. Just losing a bit of focus here. Much better shot there. Much better taking the ball early. Sort of what's missing in this game this afternoon. Not much. Letting a lot of balls go past compared to what he was doing in his earlier game. Much better there, China.
play there from Joel. Just a couple of deeper shots really helped him out with that. And Sean, shortly I'll have to ask you about the name change or the name shortening for the national champs.
Yeah, of course it used to be called just the Senior Nationals,
Yep.
but now it's being called the National Championships.
Yep.
Of course,
Well, what it means
So,
is that you're the squash national champion.
yeah,
Whereas the senior nationals, it just started to get a little bit too complicated. And people are saying, well, seniors, what is that? You know, in different sports, different mentalities about what things are called. And you can say now you're the national champion.
yeah, a bit of a loose one there again from Elijah too. He's got Joel here now, 4 game balls to get a 2-love lead.
Yeah. So he's wanting to take this.
Nice shot there. Can't really do too much with that shot.
I mean, it's pretty audacious from where he was just to hit that.
I'm pretty sure that's I'm 10-6 down. I'm just gonna go for a shot no matter what. He goes for it again, and he's wondering where's that been the whole game.
Wow, where did they come from?
Maybe I need to do more of that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you tried those 10 times, how many times are you going to make it?
Probably not 10 out of 10, unfortunately.
Oh, there's 3 down.
A big fight back here again. 9-10.
Well, 1 point the difference now, but that was 3 points in a row. A couple from pretty tough backhand shots, and now 1 deep into the forehand.
Again, very tight. Bit of an interference there, just maybe a bit all over the place. Probably the right call just to restart. Like it bounced up there.
It was a bit hard to tell on that far line.
Yeah, it looked like it slightly bounced up. It certainly was a very tight decision there. Certainly on a big point, it's a very big call to make.
Well, that's 4 in a row now for Elijah to come back into this and make it 10 apiece.
Makes it up there.
And now we have the 5th game ball for Joel Arscott to go up 2 games to love.
And good tight ball there for Joel. He's very relieved to get that game after.
Kept his head in the end. Because after you've lost 4 in a row, the opportunities, you start to question.
Especially when one of them is sort of questioning their decision, it's hard to refocus in that situation.
So it is now Elijah Thomas up by 2 games to love in the dark green shirt, and Elijah Thomas in the day glow lime shirt. But Joel Arscott 2 games to love up. and looking for a place against Evan Williams in the final, which will be 2:45 tomorrow. Look out for that. We'll be doing some commentary of that. And also you can come to the club, I guess, if you're one of the 100, according to the restrictions.
I expect a massive Henderson crowd for the women's final.
Indeed.
with the club captain Shelley Kitchen in the final. So
yeah, that'll be an interesting one against Emma Miller, because Emma likes the short points and so does Shelley Kitchen. I think it'll be a lot of fun to watch, whether it's on video or whether it's here in person as well. So certainly looking forward to that.
good stuff for Elijah in this game.
Well, there we go, 3 points. Certainly an error there from John, perhaps a little bit too impatient on that particular shot.
Well, even though he lost the second game, Elijah will take a lot of confidence the way he fought back. Remember, he was 10-6.
That was much better.
Yeah, it was 10-6 down and hit 3 very, very good shots, and then produced a really good rally to make it 10-all, and then it was just a few really nice shots from Joel to sort of get the second game. So
yeah, a little bit of confidence there. Even if you lose, it's still
that doesn't help though.
No. I mean, as a coach, what do you say to someone on that one? Just, well, aside from don't do it.
Well, there'll be a lot. Elijah's feeling more impatient, so that'll be a very frustrating thing for Coach Paul Hornsby to see.
He's here somewhere. I saw him around a bit earlier on.
He was here for the final. I don't think he's here now.
Just a little bit of indecision there. He was trying to read where Joel was going to put the ball.
It was a good hold there from Joel as well. Just held the ball just enough to push Elijah away.
One thing that Elijah does do very well is a good use of the lob. It's one of the specialties of his game. Probably more so than most of the other players in this tournament, actually.
Yeah. I haven't seen too much of that in this game, though.
No, he hasn't had the opportunity. He hasn't been in that position, has he?
So after being 3 love down, Joel's won the last 4 points, leads 4-3 now. Of course, 2 love up already in games, so doing very good right now.
I don't know if you can call that one. Fair point.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I personally think he did try and go around and then called it pretty late. It's a bit of a tough call there. Like, there was a bit of interference there, but because Joel tried to actually play the ball, you can't really make a decision. You can't really make a call after that.
So just a little bit of a stalemate here as we await another let.
Try to take that one early. Elijah taking the ball early on that occasion.
Almost headlong into the wall as well. Not sure if he quite needed to dive on that one. It was going to be a struggle to get to it. And there we go, Tianhua. New job.
Oh, sneaky comment from John Duggan just before, saying if you lose in the second round, that's your new job.
I think he's going to call it quarterfinals anyway, not second round. It always sounds a lot better when you say quarters rather than second round.
Right. He actually had to do one during his game.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
no one else wanted to do it. Maybe he's found his profession.
Being given a little bit of stick as well by others here. So finally we're at 4-all. It took a little while with a couple of lets in there. Let's see what Elijah can do with this set.
He want to get on a bit of a roll now if he wants to have any shot in getting into this match.
And no good on that one. Just
got to do a bit of trouble there. Just doing a bit too much running around.
one thing that you notice with these players when they play each other so often is a little bit of body check. Just as you walk past, it's not a bad thing, but they like to let each other know where they are.
Good hold there from Joel there. He's gotten Elijah a few times with that shot.
Very good hold. He's done a couple of those in this particular game so far.
Yeah.
Elijah's just in two minds about where to go. And Elijah's quick.
Yeah, a few cheap points there from Elijah, and suddenly it's 7-4. Then starting to
Well, that's what happens when you
now.
get caught out. You think, I've got to hurry this next point, and then the error comes as well. Caught out with the ball going so deep and just fading away. So certainly another good performance here from Joel Arscott. If it does go the way it went in the Nationals last year,
yeah,
it's looking that way at the moment.
not quite as convincing as Nationals, but certainly just as good considering the confidence that Elijah showed earlier today.
Played, dominated up in front, was able to move Elijah around quite a lot. Also, Sean, don't you think we've got to remember that this is the first tournament of the year? We are still in February. You know, for a lot of these players, yeah, they've been training, but it is tournament number one.
Yeah, well, the match fitness can be a lot.
Yep.
Things can be a lot different compared to a practice match, a friendly. So there's certainly much more pressure in this sort of situation.
So every now and then,
So
there's a little bit of rawness to the
yeah.
odd shot, isn't there? The odd rally and match.
And we've certainly seen that not just in this game, but in many of the matches today.
No, I don't know if you can call that, Joel.
So 5-9 here. Stroke there,
Yep.
Now it's match ball to.
And you can just see the
Good
look
job.
on Elijah's face. He knew that he'd got in the way of that one, and there you go with 5 match balls. there it is. Straight game victory to Joel Arscott over Elijah Thomas and Sean Wiggin. Just a quick word on that match.
Joel just was too solid today. Elijah wasn't able to back out that performance from earlier today.